Seriously? Steph, seriously? Like, if you're not here to tell me you can't hear me, nobody would ever hear me. Ever. Hey, Nate, how are you? Farmer Fred. Hi, how are you guys? Okay, so look, I was telling you that I was having some pink lemonade, some Weiler's Light. Join me if you want. I feel like I need to hydrate. It was kind of a warm day in Minnesota. Can you believe it? Oh, isn't it so nice out today, you guys? We're talking Minnesota stuff today because obviously I'm from Minnesota and everybody pretty much who knows me knows that, right? Right. I like the lime one. Oh, I'm not a lime fan, but hey, you know what? You have to be in the mood for lemonade, I think. Hey, hi, Daniel Berry Sports. Hey, guys, listen. This is not a Sunday stream today. I mean, it's Sunday, but this isn't a God stream today. This is a political stream. I'm all political today. I'm all hyped up. Okay. You know what? We've got 15, 16 days before the election. I'm in it to win it. I mean, got my Trump gear going. I've got a lot of signs out there. In Minnesota, we're starting to get more of those signs out. So if you guys need a sign and you know how to get a hold of me and you're in the Twin Cities in the metro, let me know. I'll get you a sign. We'll get you a sign. You need a Trump sign? You need a Trump bumper sticker? I'm your girl. Okay. I'm the one. You know what? You send me a self-addressed stamped envelope. I'll send you. Well, maybe I'm not gonna give you my address. You weirdos. Anyways, but you know where I get a hold of me. I'll make sure you get it. I got the hookup. I got the homie hookup for the Trump paraphernalia. Anyways, yard signs, big yard signs. Anyways, especially if you're on like a main thoroughfare, please let us know. Gina, what's the best thing that has ever came out of Kamala's mouth? I don't know, Steph. What? Ace's mom. I don't know. What? Is this a joke? Tell me, what? What is the best thing that came out of her? Hold on, I gotta look at something else here. I don't know. Who's Willie Brown? Oh my God, I'm really bad. Willie Brown's. That's terrible. Am I gonna get in trouble for that? Hey, I don't know who Willie Brown is. I'm so bad about it. But anyways, that's okay. Listen, what we're going to do, I wanted to kind of go over some of the Minnesota stuff. And, I don't know if you guys ever watch Walter Hudson stuff on YouTube. He's great. He's got a little channel, the Minnesota House stuff. He does a lot of stuff at the Capitol, and he does a lot of videos, to kind of keep people up to date with what's going on. And so I love watching his videos, but he has this one out, and I just, it made me think about a lot. And I was like, well, I don't know if I should put that as a Sunday stream, but it made me think a lot about my godly principles and my values and my belief system. And maybe I was like, you know what? Maybe I can articulate why maybe like somebody like me thinks the way this guy thinks, or that, can put it in additional words. I don't know. I mean, who's going to listen to me? But sometimes people do. I don't know. I'm a nobody. I'm just, your average voter. Yeah, I try to get more involved in politics. I encourage people to go to their caucuses, become delegates, go to their conventions, and just, because then you have a little bit more of a say about who you're placing in these positions. Because, when you're at home and you're in your neighborhoods and stuff, you don't think that, but that's where it starts, guys. It starts in your own little neighborhood. So anyways, let's talk. Let's see what Walter has to say. I think that this is some stuff. What? Oh Lordy. Kamala's bow. What? Oh, Farmer Fred. Anyways, okay, so let's hit the play button here. Here we go. Listen up, guys. And I'll try to comment. You guys let me know how the sound.
Tim Walz. Sure. Isn't it funny how you don't even You don't even have to. You just have to say the name, right? You just have to say the name. So Tim Walz, he went on that vice presidential debate and he made the absolutely ludicrous claim, which he forwarded again, and I believe it was his Fox News interview, that the laws that he signed don't in fact allow for the abortion of a fully gestational age child at 40 weeks.
And this is the beauty of it. Walter's going to explain. I asked if I could use this. I think that you can because it's on YouTube. So, and it's all public info. So hopefully, I'm not trying to,
In the 9th month. That's not what the bill says. He told us. That's not what the bill says. Now, let me tell you, because the first mistake we shouldn't make, one of the mistakes we shouldn't make, is assuming that these people are stupid.
And this is Minnesota, you guys.
They are not.
This is actually going to be, this is what is
smart
legislation in Minnesota.
Devious. They know exactly what they're doing. They speak with intention. So what was the intention behind Tim Walz claiming that the law doesn't do what it obviously does? Confusion.
Mm-hmm.
It's the assumption, and it's a very cynical ploy, because what he's assuming is that you're stupid.
Mm-hmm.
What he's assuming is that you don't understand how the law works.
You know what? Tim Walz actually does. Hold on, let me move my little thingamabobber here. I'm trying to find my cursor on this big white screen. So, Tim Walz has done so many, or he's done a few media things, he's putting himself out there, and he just comes off as that knucklehead that he claimed to be in the debate. So we shouldn't be surprised because he warned you, and he warned you in the debate. And I just hope that people, if they're considering him, just remember that he is the knucklehead that he claims to be. Let's continue.
So when he says the law doesn't say that, in his head, probably his defense of that, like if somebody pinned him down and said, well, what do you mean it doesn't say that? He would probably say something to the effect of, well, the law doesn't say that you can suck out a baby's brains at 40 weeks gestational age. Those words are not in the bill.
No, they're not in the bill.
Right?
No. But
what matters in law is the effect that it has.
And
what was the effect of HF1? What was the effect of HF 94, which was the other big abortion bill that they incorporated into their health omnibus? What is the effect of statutory language when taken into consideration with all other statute? And the effect of the laws that he signed, that he made real in this state, and that are enacted right now, the effect is that indeed, not only can you suck the brains out of a 40-week gestational age baby in the womb, do a partial birth abortion, bring them halfway out, because as long as some part of them is in there, then there's still a clump of cells. Tens of thousands of cells, but, cells nonetheless, right? Technically correct.
Yeah.
Not only can you do that,
there's a key word that's coming up here.
You can also have a baby born alive as a result of a botched abortion, and then watch it die from neglect and exposure.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes, this is correct. In Minnesota, this is this is the law now in Minnesota. Whether or not people think it's true or not, he's going to continue. He's going to go on to explain here, and so I want people to understand across America what the Democrat Party has done since they were able to get control here in Minnesota. So it's a problem. Anyways, let's continue.
On a medical table. Now, what's their defense of that? Well, they say, well, come on now. You guys are overreacting. Just because we literally struck a line through the words that say life-saving care and replaced it with the word care, that doesn't mean necessarily what you think it means. That doesn't mean what you logically interpret that statutory language to imply.
You're right.
But
That's
care
right,
could be
Nate.
literally anything. Care could be patting the newborn infant on the head and saying they're there as they die without effective medical intervention to save their life.
Is that sick? It just sounds sick because it is sick. And it has happened basically, well, I don't know about that particular scenario, but there have been babies that have survived botched abortions in Minnesota. I believe he goes on to tell us there's about 5 that have happened in Minnesota. I believe this year. Let's take a look here. Let's see.
That's the status quo in Minnesota. Now, what possible good news could we glean from that?
We'll get into that video later.
I'll tell you. The good news is that by virtue of the stance and position and posture that Tim Walz and his running mate Kamala Harris and all of their Democrat and aligned friends have taken on this issue, the fact that they're backing away from it, the fact that they're trying to confuse you, the fact that they're lying about it, it tells you that they know. They know multiple things. They know that what they did was morally abhorrent. They know that what they did was evil.
Yep.
And they know that it is politically unpalatable. They know that the residents of Minnesota, the voters of Minnesota, the people don't agree with it.
We don't. But I'd be shocked if people in Minnesota knew that this is the possibility. I mean, if you went door to door and spoke to every voter about this, any adult period about this, I think that it would just be so much different if people really knew about the evil that is actually out there in my opinion, in my own personal opinion, in the medical field. The medical field is filled with some of the most evil scientists, freaking ready to experiment on the human body people. I'm telling you. I mean, not all. Don't. I'm not trying to say all, but this is scary because you know how we were going through the books of Enoch and we were talking about how basically once the angels gave birth to once the women gave birth to the giants from the angels, they started mating with the animals and they began creating creatures and things like that. Well, they were experimenting. And when I see that, I mean, they wanted to see what they could create is what it was. It was a creation. They were creating something. And it just, I found it interesting when the fact that, what would you say? The fact that we pay taxes that support such things implicates us all in complacency to the act. Yes, Nate, that's exactly how I feel as well. It's bad enough, but this makes it even more wicked. Yes. And so that's why, you know, people like you and me, we try to be vocal about it. And sometimes I may not be the most eloquent in saying, hey, look, that's just wrong. But we need to get back our moral ground that we stand on as Americans. And like, this is a toughie. So like, we've got a lot of like illegal immigration and stuff like that coming in right now. And that's a toughie I mean, we've got so much going on right now in America. Everything is just so tough, but you still want to put these biblical principles in place. Well, I could talk about the foreigner and about getting along and people assimilating and people being a good neighbor. I mean, if you're going to go into another country, you're going to want to go in and be a good neighbor. You're not want to go in and cause problems. You're going to want to go in and want to learn the culture and want to assimilate. That is who's going to be successful. Any illegal that comes here, if they don't follow the rules, you know what? I'm like GTFO. You already broke the rules coming in. It's a toughie, you know. Don't get me started. I got all kinds of stuff to say about that. So I don't want to get off on that, but I just wanted to say that this is evil. This, you know, oh look, okay, I can just kill a baby. I just not gonna give it care. It's scary. It's scary that we don't have enough of a moral compass as a state to say that's wrong, because in my eyes, I don't see how anybody could think that is right. It will never, ever, ever, ever be right to have a full-term baby aborted. No, no, just no, 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 no.
Now, that's a remarkable thing to realize, because in 2022, this was their basically only issue. This was all they were talking about. And we anticipated the big red wave that was supposed to come in 22, right? And I think, broadly speaking, the conventional wisdom is there were two reasons why that didn't happen. One, election administration. And there's subpoints to that I could go into. But the second thing is this abortion issue, right? The Dobbs decision and the impact that had on the culture shock of Roe v. Wade being overturned, which wasn't on my bingo card.
And that's the funniest part, is that people just don't understand the whole Roe v. Wade thing. And I think that if they did understand it and they were to put their logical hat on, their sensible hat on, they would be like, oh, okay, I get it now.
I wanted it to happen. Never thought I'd see it. And here we are. Fantastic news for those of us who are pro-life, but it is manifested in a very toxic way here in the state of Minnesota.
Yes.
And they ran hard on that issue. It was their one big issue, and it worked for them. And they were so confident coming out of earning the trifecta that they decided to make this House File 1. All the bills are numbered based upon the order in which they're introduced, or the order in which they're processed.
This is their most important thing to have.
And so, and when a caucus comes in, like if Republicans take over the House, which I believe we will, we'll get into that later. It won't be an accident. Whatever our House File 1 is, that'll be very intentional. Of we're trying to send a message of this is our priority. Mm-hmm. This is what we're interested in delivering for the people of Minnesota.
Yeah.
For the Democrats in 2023, that was HF1, the PRO Act, protecting reproductive options, the abortion bill.
Sick.
It was their number one priority. It was the same thing the Senate File 1. This was their number one priority. Before, let's list the many things that could have come higher on the list, right? Public safety, education, 50% of kids who can't read at grade level or do math at grade level. Taxes, spending, returning the surplus.
Oh, don't get me started on that.
$18 billion to $20 billion, depending upon who you ask and what calculations they're using. They didn't want to focus on any of that. How about this one? Repealing the Social Security tax fully so as to not punish our elders again. Because if you've lived long enough, you've spent a lot of time being punished, right?
Right. If you don't pay into Social
That
Security,
wasn't a priority. In fact, they never did it in 2 years. This was their top
then
priority.
I think you should get taxed for your Social Security.
Ironically,
if you've never paid into Social
I don't know
Security,
how many of
you should get taxed
may be
on
familiar
that
with
shit.
Ayn Rand, or
But
if you are,
that's
how
my thought process.
deeply you're familiar with her.
It's a compromise.
But this is the one area of life, this and so-called gender-affirming care. These are the two areas of public policy where the Democrats actually agree that government should have nothing to say about it. They created a space of total anarchy in prenatal care. See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. It doesn't exist. I got a text today in the middle of something from a gal who's helping with a campaign on the east side of town. And her candidate was apparently in a candidate forum today, a debate. And her opponent, who's a Democrat, an incumbent, was trying to make the claim that has been made multiple times by these liars that, oh, that doesn't happen. We don't have babies born alive and left to die. I texted her back. We had 5 in 2021. And the reason I know that is because Tim Walz's own administration put out the report saying that there were 5 babies born alive as a result of botched abortions. The reason why they put out that report is they required by law. The law that required them to do it was the Infant Born Alive Protection Act. Guess what they repealed?
The Infant Born Alive.
So going forward,
Act.
and again, this comes back to the point about Tim Walz and his party thinking you're stupid, hoping you're stupid, hoping you're not engaged, hoping you don't understand civics, hoping that you can't read and comprehend words on paper. They repealed the mechanism through which we will ever know the horrors of what's taking place in our state under the auspices of reproductive care, reproductive health care, as they call it, going forward. So we're not going to have those numbers anymore.
So here's my thing. When they're talking that this is reproductive health care, for the care of the health care, to care for your health, not to, you know what, I'm just not even going to say it. I'm not even going to say it. It just,
we're not going to know whether it's 12,000 people who were killed before they were born, or whether it's up to 15 or 17.
In my eyes.
We're not going to know how many babies are left to die on a medical table.
Well,
we're just not going to count it. It's none of your business. Mind your own damn business.
Yeah, that's
Tim
right.
Walz says,
That's
right?
what Tim Walz likes to say. Mind your own damn business.
Don't worry about life, death, murder, killing. Not something that's in the scope of your concern. That's where we're at. And so that's where my head's at right now, is on that issue. But that issue and a dozen others that we could talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that it was handled, the way that it was approached by the Democrat trifecta really is indicative of a narcissistic, arrogant, and undemocratic process that was embraced by the legislative majority and by Tim Walz over these last 2 years. And I firmly believe, looking back retroactively, because let me share this with you. So I get elected first term, 2022. in the space between election day and when the first day of a session of a new term starts, you've got all these, we call them freshman members, first term members, right? They all need to get oriented.
There were a lot.
And there are different processes and events. Some of them are partisan. Some of them are, you know, if you're a Republican, you hang out with the Republicans and they tell you what you need to know about this, that, and the other thing. A lot of them are put on by the House of Representatives. And so it's Republicans and Democrats all together. And one of the recurrent themes through this process in 2022, leading up to the legislative session in 2023, was the importance of maintaining good relationships with your colleagues, right? That, you know, somebody who's your opponent on one issue may end up being your friend on the next one. So be careful. Don't push too hard. Don't be too mean.
Like, I'll go a little faster on this part.
It's my firm belief that on election night in 2022, as soon as they realized what they had, as soon as they realized they had the trifecta, the decision was made that they were going to betray all of that, that they weren't going to work with Republicans at all, at all. Now, there were a few exceptions to that occurred over the course of the session, but they were organic. It was Democrats breaking ranks, perhaps not on votes. There wasn't a lot of that. But at least in terms of being willing to have a conversation, being willing to talk to you in the retiring room or in a corridor or on the sides of a committee hearing room or whatever the case may be, maybe even in an office, and consider what you had to say. There was a little bit of that. But as an institution, from leadership on the way down, the decision was very clearly imposed that we're not taking anything these people have to say seriously at all, and we're not going to incorporate any of their ideas into what it is that we're doing. Now, that bared out. You saw it if you watched any of the committee hearings, the House floor debates, particularly on this issue, HF1, rejecting our amendments left and right, rolling their eyes. I mean, I wish you could have seen it from my perspective, because the cameras on the House floor.
It's not too fast for you guys,
so
right?
You only get that headshot, right? But through my eyes, I could see their body language and their facial expressions and how they reacted to truth being told.
And that's why I like it's so important. I don't know if you guys get a chance, but I do like watching our House the meetings. I like watching that you can get to some of the committee meetings on the state website, the House of Representatives website, I believe. So I'll see if I can find those links for you. I have some of the links actually in the description. I have the link to this video in the description. So if you want to watch it in full on your own, or, you know, go over it again too, or use it.
I don't expect to ever know what it's like to be in hell and to watch demons writhe.
Check it out.
But I imagine that what I often saw on the House floor is very similar. Like physical reactions to the truth that were somewhere on a spectrum between open mockery, disdain, to godly fear, right? Like even the demons cast out by Christ expressed a certain degree of reverence, right, for the power that they were in front of, that they were confronted with. And we share an echo of that, a shadow of that when we speak truth, right? And so when you confront evil with light, there's a reaction.
So, oh God, I don't even know what I say. So I love that, you know, I don't know if I'm going to point this out, that the Republicans in Minnesota are they're very Christian, I think. You know, I'm going to be honest, a majority of them are. And I like that I like this guy. I like his thought process. I have a similar thought process that this guy's got. So, I mean, that's why I kind of chose
and that's what I saw on the House floor.
I like to watch it.
I recently heard a story that really drives this point home. I was up north
this guy
in Hubbard County, speaking to a group up there of Republicans, and the local representatives, Senator Steve Green and Representative Matt Bliss, talked about how they both represent districts that include tribal nations and communities affected by tribal relations. One of the provisions that was being considered, didn't make it through, thankfully, was in the category of what they call land back.
Me too, Nate. Me too.
Land, state-owned land, and in some cases, I believe, private land, and give it to the tribes. Now, this has happened in some places, resulting in people's personal property literally being isolated. Tribes have cut off roads and kept people from being able to get to their own homes. Okay, this has happened. And so it was a big deal. Guess who wasn't even consulted before the bill dropped? Now, if you believed in democracy, if you believed in representative government, if you were operating in good faith, then you would consult people on the other side of the aisle when you're presenting something that is going to have a direct and indeed profound impact upon the constituents who they represent.
Yes.
That is, if you care about those people.
Your neighborhood.
And my point to the folks up north was, they don't. I will never stand for being lectured about compassion from these people, ever. Because they have too frequently and consistently.
I don't know if he's ever going to get to the point that I want to make, is that a lot of these people go into these positions and these house seats and stuff like that, with the intent of doing good for their neighborhood or whatever. But what they do is they become self-indulgent and they become power mad. And what happens is we get these weird freaking ideas like tampons in boys' bathrooms. I mean, that kind of stuff actually. Okay, let's continue.
Demonstrated that they have none.
Sorry.
You have to have zero compassion to pass HF1. You have to have zero compassion to pass HF 94, which got rid of the Infant Born Alive Protection Act. You have to have zero compassion to introduce a bill that could potentially take somebody's home away from them without having the courtesy of notifying their elected representative. You have to have zero compassion in order to cram through business mandates, such as the paid family medical leave bill.
Oh, geez, this is bad.
Doesn't everybody want paid family medical leave?
I don't even know how this is going to happen.
I'd also like $1 billion, right? Can you give me that?
This is a scary thing in
What was
Minnesota.
the impact of passing such policy? The impact is that literally every employer, regardless of size, so if you hire one person, you're bound by this provision, which has not gone into effect yet, but it will next year, I believe, to provide them with up to, I believe it's 24 weeks off during the course of a year, which for those who are counting, that's about half the year, right? Non-contiguous, so it could be a day here, a week there, a month there, right? And you get no say in it. Somebody says they're going to take it, they just get it. Day of, could be, I used to be, prior to getting into this racket of politics,
don't feel like
I was a operations manager for a small business that contracts with FedEx. And so it was my job every night to put together the routes, assign the drivers, make the plan. Now, on more than one occasion, I would wake up in the morning, go into the terminal, and discover around about 11 o'clock that a driver just wasn't going to show up. And then guess who had to go and drive the route? Yeah. So my day goes from whatever it was that I had planned.
There's no way that
to that
stick
until
or hold.
9
There's
o'clock
just no way.
at night,
I don't think.
And then, by the way, getting home and planning the next day, right? What this law would provide is for that to be just rampant with no consequences. You can't retaliate. You can't punish them. You can't say, well, this is unacceptable. Our organization can't operate like this. We're going to go out of business. And those folks in particular, these independent contractors who are kind of like a buffer between a big corporation like FedEx and the drivers on the ground, they're going to be in a real pincer with this thing because they are contractually obligated to ensure that every package gets delivered every day on time. And you can't do that if people aren't showing up. And it takes a long time to onboard somebody, to even find somebody who wants to be onboarded. A lot of times you get halfway through the process and they decide it's not for them. So how are we going to fix that? Well, I'll tell you how we're not going to. With temporary staffing. You know how I know that? Because I went to a I-94 Chamber of Commerce meeting.
This is interesting.
Room like this filled with business owners, managers, business people. Not happy about what's happened over the past couple of years. And this was one of the big issues that they kept bringing up. One of them sent me an email the next morning, and she said that if this provision, the Paid Family Medical Leave Act, is unaltered, that they are going to be forced to add Minnesota to their list of states, which right now only includes 2 others, Colorado and California, that they will not do business in. That's a temporary staffer. That's a person, that's a company that finds people to plug the holes when there's a hole.
Maybe the new medical
What we've done is we've created a process by which
recreational cannabis thing will
are not going to be able to fulfill their workforce issues, which, by the way, common thread through every sector of the economy that I and I know others heard at the legislature, workforce. It's a problem now. And they're making it worse, exponentially worse.
I don't know how businesses are going to even be able to have employees.
What do you think the impact is going to be on the economy?
Anybody could just, people can basically go to work and say, I need to go home. And then every employee at that, basically, there's no protection for the owner, for the business. It basically says the employee just can go whatever, you know what, there's no repercussion. Like, I'd be like, okay, you don't work here anymore then, but apparently you can't do that now. It's basically harder to get fired for not showing up to work.
Packages start not showing up. I mean, that's just my example. Go down the list of literally everything. Nursing, hospitals, emergency services. This applies to, like I said, literally every employer. Your city, your county, your school district. I was on the city council in Albertville for 7 years. Every year we would get an audit And one of the common pieces of feedback that we got
I may have to
was that you
move
guys lack segregation
out of
of
Minnesota.
responsibility in fiscal matters,
Serious.
which is a fancy way of saying
I want to.
you don't have enough people to responsibly sort out all of the financial responsibilities in order to have best practices to avoid problems, right? Like if the same person is responsible for too much, the temptation is there for them to do bad things. That's basically the feedback. Well, that wasn't intentional. It wasn't mismanagement on our part. We don't have the budget to hire 15 people to look at our budget or to manage our finances. Instead, we have a finance director, one gal. She does it all. Knows where all the financial bodies are buried. What happens to the city of Albertville if she goes out for 24 weeks?
Screwed. Screwed.
Even if you were to replace her with somebody who on paper is more qualified and a better fit for the job, that person wouldn't know where the bathrooms are. Okay? That person wouldn't know which file to look in, which drawer to pull out to find information.
This is all corruption.
So
These
the
people,
institutional knowledge
okay,
that
so
employees have.
who had the business sense to think this up? Nobody. No. They failed economics. There, I said it. They must have failed. Whoever thunk this up failed economics. That's all. I mean, that's all I can say, right?
Is a tremendous asset. And we're just going to ignore that, right? City's just going to have to deal with it. School district's just going to have to deal with it. And that was their prevailing sentiment. Every time we brought up any of these concerns with any of these mandates is people are just going to have to figure out a way to deal with it.
Nate, you're right.
Just going to have to deal with it because you know what? We're
and it's your neighbors. It's your neighbors. It is the people that you guys elected on the ground level, like in your district, that go to the House, the House of Representatives. Okay, you guys. So it's super important, especially if you live in Minnesota. I'm telling you, if you do, I mean, I'm going to vote red down ballot. A red straight down. There is something else that is on this ballot, and so we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But let's continue to listen to this, because he just everything he says in this is really
and
good.
we feel for the people
A little bit more, and then I think like the end, I don't
in order to care for a loved one or literally anybody. I mean, one of the aspects of this law that they passed is that you can take time off to take care of somebody who has like a family affinity. So if you have a best friend or a neighbor or the cousin of your best friend's neighbor who you want to call your family, you can use them as an excuse. I mean, gone is the day of, for the 12th time this year, claiming your grandma died. Now you can say, well, there's a guy across town whose kid fell down a well and I need to go dig him out, right? And there's no verification. There's no requirement to actually demonstrate that any of this is legitimate. And as you're walking out the door as that employee, the guy next to you can be like, you know what, I do too. I'm going to go help him. And then you can have 5 people walk out the door.
I love his example.
Nothing to stop them. This is their version of compassion. And through the legislative process of considering these types of provisions, there was no consideration whatsoever of what the actual impact of any of these laws is going to be. And we're seeing it in the trajectory of outward migration from this state. Not just in terms of people. I want to say it was in between 21 and 22, before these laws were passed. We lost a net.
Is he saying that this is a not paid? Because I thought that was the caveat, that it was actually paid leave.
$1.9 billion walked across state lines.
24 weeks of paid leave every year now, huh?
And this is what they don't care about, is they spent, when we talk about you've all heard about the surplus. They spent the $18 billion. They raised taxes by $10 billion. They increased the state budget by 40%. 40. Those things are audacious on their face. But even more so when you take into consideration the fact that a large portion, I believe it's 12 billion of the 18 that was surplus, was one-time money from the federal government. Remember COVID? So you tell me, you win the lottery and you take your winnings and you have a plan to spend it all immediately. But not just spend it all. You're going to set up long-term expenses. You're going to buy a house. You're going to buy cars, multiples. You're going to take out loans based upon the fact that you have this money available today. But you have no plan whatsoever for how you're going to fund it the next year or the year after that or the decade after that.
And that is where a lot of people get in trouble. There are going to be a lot of bankruptcies probably coming up soon, I'm guessing, because of the whole, see weird thing. I don't know. I'm still on like YouTube, so on YouTube, you can only say certain words sometimes, maybe. I don't know. I ain't trying to say anything. It's interesting.
You have very good reason to believe that your income's actually going to go down.
Yep.
Because you've gotten a little lazy at work since you hit the jackpot, right? That's where we're at as a state. Our available income is literally going down, and they just created a new department, state agency, the Department of Children, Youth, and Families. They're spending $750 million on a new state office building. Meanwhile, that same amount of money is needed in bonding in order to bring our correction system just up to fair. Not good, not okay.
It's like the priorities are so messed up in so many ways. Now, this children's things, families things, okay, that they have. So what are they going to do with these other programs? Are they going to be combining them, or did they just create a whole new thing? What happened to WIC? What happened to that? What is that going to be involved in that? I mean, it should be. If it's not, instead of it having its own, I mean, they're just they're thinking of ways to spend my paycheck. I swear to God. I swear to God. Oh, God, help me.
So, I mean, the level of irresponsibility and recklessness that it was on display by the Democrats is unbelievable. It's literally unbelievable. In fact, that was one of the top issues that I and my fellow legislators had over the course of this past 2 years, is conveying what is happening,
you guys,
without people being like, nah, that can't be. Nobody's that stupid. Nobody's that evil.
Yes.
Nobody's that reckless and irresponsible. You must be exaggerating for political effect.
Yes.
It's not
yes, Nate. Yes.
And so
that as well.
Here we are. Here we find ourselves. 2024, a couple weeks out from the election. The good news is there's good news. I very much anticipate that we're going to have a very good night on November 5th. Every new piece of information that I hear is better than the last piece of information that I heard regarding the momentum, the trajectory, the direction things are going. I want to say that of the swing districts in the House, I think they were looking at 7 of them. 6 of the 7 are either tied or we're ahead. You expand that out to 10, 3 of the other 4, same deal. We're within striking distance. Trump is doing amazing. Harris is not. You can detect the visceral panic on the left about the direction things are going. They anticipate losing. There was a great clip that was making the rounds yesterday of Joe Biden and Barack Obama at a funeral service, and you couldn't hear what they were saying, but you could read it on their faces.
Everybody's got a meme about that one. I've said,
now,
like,
the danger in
saying,
these positive
she's not going to make it or whatever. It's
here,
really
take
funny.
It in and assume
everything's got a few different ones out there. It's pretty
I don't have to do any more, right? That's the wrong approach. It's a little bit like, well, when I'm coming here today. Actually, I didn't have to use GPS. I've been here enough times that now I just know. But you know, you're using your GPS to get somewhere, and it tells you you're on track to make it by 7:05. Does that mean you can go to sleep behind the wheel? No. You got to keep your hand on the steering wheel. You got to keep your foot on the pedal. It's calculating what will happen if you keep it up. That's where we're at. So we need to keep it up. And one of the people who do that is sitting right here, Mary Amlaw, with Trump Force 47.
Yeah.
If you're not already a Trump Force captain,
I am.
Talk to her before the end of the night. It's not a big ask. Are you guys still giving like 25, lists of 25? Is that where it's at, or has it changed?
You have as many as you want.
Any number you want.
As many
and the reason it's any number you want is because the corn is high and the harvest is ready to bring in. Right?
You guys, if you're in Minnesota,
do it.
It is time
Minnesota,
to...
I firmly believe, is not a blue state. And my reasoning for that is that if you look house district by house district, we've got anywhere between 2,500 and 3,500 conservative voters who did not vote in 2022. Now, if they had came out, we would have fired Keith Ellison. We would have fired Julie Blaha, the state auditor. We probably would have had Scott Jensen as governor. I mean, we would have taken it all. We certainly wouldn't have lost the Senate by 1 district. And we probably wouldn't have lost the House by 4 districts. You talk to people, even apolitical normies, by virtue of the fact that you're here, I hate to break it to you, but you're not a normie. But you talk to normal people, and nobody likes what they've seen over the last 2 years, regardless of their political affiliation. They all think it's abhorrent. They all think it's outside the bounds of acceptability. But they need to vote. And that's what Mary's working on. You can also help your local candidates, your school board candidates, your mayoral candidates, city council, county commissioner. All of them need help, and all of it is crucial. And again, I speak from experience of being on a local board, a city council. I also speak from the experience of watching, from my position as a legislator, how school board members have been treated if they don't go along with the Education Minnesota line.
It's scary.
We're probably, I don't know what school district we're in here. Is it the Elk River School District? Cambridge, I said? Okay, so Elk River, south of you, there are 2 school board members who were censured, John Anderson and Mindy Freiberg, they were censured by the other members of their board for such crimes as holding town halls, visiting the Capitol to speak with legislators, talking to their voters.
Trying to be informed.
Because these things are a violation of a policy that was crafted by the Minnesota School Board Association and has been widely adopted by many school districts and school boards. And the policy effectively means, going back to the whole concept of that's not what it says. Well, this is what it does. What it does is it effectively neuters your political representation in the school board.
And that's...
It obligates them under the auspices of ethics to support whatever it is that the school district does.
You know, I'm glad that you say this, Nate, because, yeah, if they do not comply, they lose funding. So here's the thing. Is they're getting, you know, they keep accepting these federal funds. Hey, isn't Trump, I think Trump was talking about, he's like campaigning on the fact that he wants to abolish the Department of Education. Basically, leave that up to the states too. And honestly, that really is where it should have been in the first place and should always be. It is not, I mean, I do believe that if you went back to the early, like what the McGuppy readers and things like that, and all the original academics of the earliest schools in America or in the United States as official school books, or what's the word I'm looking for? Curriculum. You would be shocked at what it was, because a lot of it involved, you know, like even Bible verses. Just so you know, I don't know if you knew that, but it's interesting.
Whatever it is that the school board votes on, whatever it is that the superintendent decides. And if you speak out, if you say, I don't like that, that's
funding.
Not good. This isn't the most effective or responsible use of our resources. Well, you're acting unethically. How dare you? And that's what they were censured for. So what we need is, and that's something that's really crucial for us to understand here in Minnesota, because if we operate under the false assumption that merely electing a couple of good school board members to the school board is going to result in any sort of meaningful change in how the district conducts its business, it won't. You need to get a majority.
We need to stop taking federal monies as a state. You know, in Minnesota, honestly, personally, when I learned of some of the rules that they wanted for the children to accept the C word money, they agreed to things that I'm hoping that all that passed, because I believe inside one of the federal mandates was that if they collected that money for the schools, that the children would be required to be vaccinated. I'm not positive on that anymore, but I know that the wording may have changed. I don't know if it did or not. But when you're taking federal money for programs, you have to do whatever that grant says. And so that is a little bothersome, because if we as a state, maybe we need to start having rules in place that before we start accepting federal grant money as a state as a whole, maybe we need to vote on accepting that federal grant money, because maybe not everybody is like, whoa, I don't like the stipulations that money actually has on that pool of people or that area, whether it be for transportation or education or whatever it is. I mean, I don't know what different projects they actually have, but I mean, it's good to know what's inside those grants.
And willing to tell the state to go to hell.
We are accepting
when they put down mandates
money
saying
from the
that
federal
tampons
government.
need to be in the boys' bathroom.
It's very
or that my sons need to be taught to regard one half of their family with suspicion because of the color of their skin. Right? This is the reality of what's happening in Minnesota. So it's very crucial to support your candidates, to get them across the line. We need to win this election.
Yeah.
We're all in agreement? Okay. Let's talk a little bit about what happens after the election. I was encouraged to hear that you're going to have a speaker on a later date. I put it on my calendar tentatively. to come and talk to you about this initiative, or that's not what it's called, the notice and affidavit process, to try to assert your rights and challenge public officials when they're acting unconstitutionally.
Yeah.
It's a bold new idea. Actually, it's not new. It's part of the common law. It's something that's been around forever, but we've forgotten. We're living in a moment that is not unlike that of King Josiah in Israel. As you may recall, and hopefully I'm getting the king right, as you may recall, there was this king who he came to power after his father and his grandfather, who were very bad, unrighteous. They worshipped false gods and encouraged the worship of false gods in the realm. And Josiah desperately thirsted for righteousness. He wanted to restore the land. The problem was there wasn't a copy of the law anywhere, so he didn't have a frame of reference.
Oh,
Like, people didn't even know what the law was that they were supposed to be upholding.
so
And they found one.
I'm going to actually stop this right here, because he starts talking about this, and I just went off on this like little rabbit trail. But like, how can I make this somewhat of a God stream, right? So I started to think about a lot of this, and about how our media is today, and about how, let me pull myself up a little bit more here. I'm on the wrong screen. I keep looking at something else. But oh fuck, I just got lost my train of thought. One. Let me go back here. What did he say? Bible, it says to make your visions plain on tablets. You notice I noticed about like all of these like old writings, what they did is they probably realized at some point in time that paper disintegrates over time, because these guys lived hundreds and hundreds of years. So the leather, all this stuff, okay, all of that it just does deteriorate to some degree over a period of time, over hundreds of years, millennium even. So what they did is they made those clay tablets, and they started writing in the cuneiform. So when the Bible says to make I'm trying to get back to you. I tried. I'm so sorry. My internet went out at home, but I'm glad that it kept the live stream live. So sorry. Sorry about that. Where was I? You guys, it was awful. Anyways, okay. Anyways, I was just talking about basically making it plain on tablets. It's like our ancestors from the beginning of time. That's the only thing anything ever survived. So if you want something to last, honestly, all your journals and everything, guys, cuneiform. Don't even put it on a disc. Those disintegrate too. I'm just saying. Clay tablets. That's the way to go. Ah. No, I know. I was like, shit, am I getting kicked off YouTube? What the fudge? I'm working on my cussing. I'm not doing very well, but whatever. Anyways, okay, so let's see. Share. Well, we kind of listened to our friend Walter. Let me see, what else did he have to say? He actually, he's fun to listen to. I enjoy this guy.
To be upholding.
Like I said, I have,
and they found one
there
in a dusty room somewhere, a copy of the law. And this was like the best day of Josiah's life. He's like, finally, I get to tear into this thing, find out what God's expectations are, and start to make reforms. And reforms he started to make. He started to tear down the idols. He started to punish evildoers. And he restored righteousness in the land for a time. That's the position that we find ourselves in right now. We need to know what the law even is. And we think we do, but we don't behave like we do. Because when unconstitutional things happen, they are not binding, not morally, not really legally either. The only reason why it passes, the only reason why it goes into effect and is upheld is because we remain
like laser etching
and allow it to happen. So what you're going to hear in November is a methodology for attacking that, for saying, no, you have broken trust. And it's time for the people to set things right. One of the things you'll likely hear in November is reference to, in the Declaration of Independence, it says that when a system of government becomes tyrannical, the people have not just the right, but the duty to change their form of government. It doesn't say anything about waiting for 2 years for the next election. It doesn't say anything about waiting until the next Supreme Court justice retires or passes away. Whenever, we have the right and the duty to change it. So I'm glad you guys are going to be looking into that. The other thing that I want to say is that, I spoke earlier about my perception
and
that
it's
Minnesota
true.
is
We have the
for
duty
harvest, for political harvest, for conservatives and for Republicans. And one of the things that's happened, as long as I've been involved, I think Mary's been involved longer than I have overall. But I got involved with the Tea Party back in the day. That's where I met Mary. And, we were green as green could be, didn't know anything, didn't know what a Robert's Rule was or any of that stuff.
Yes, if you
throughout my time
in politics,
being adjacent to
know your Robert's Rules of Order.
It's kind of been a mess. And
I didn't.
It wasn't always that way, as I understand it.
I was like, what?
There is a way
Who's
back.
Robert?
And I very much feel like we've kind of bottomed out and are starting to head in the right direction. But we need to accelerate that in a big way. And that's going to require, at the core of it, what it's really about is relationships. Relationships amongst ourselves, relationships with our neighbors, with our communities, talking to people, empowering people, serving people. You serve people, you engender loyalty, which translates to votes, which translates to power, which you can use to uphold rights. And that's the name of the game. And so that needs to be the focus going forward, because simply rebuking, having the wonderful moment that I sincerely hope we have on November 5th, where Tim Walz not only gets his butt kicked, his clock cleaned in the Electoral College, but also has the indignity of having to return to Minnesota, having seen it flip red for Donald Trump, of all people.
Be amazeballs, you guys. You guys, I hope everybody
as delicious
else
as that moment
has a
will be,
Trump.
It is not the finish line. There is no finish line.
Okay. Now, let's see. I wanted to actually, let me go to this. Because I wanted to, let's stop that screen. I wanted to show you, they had that one poll at the state fair this year, at the Minnesota State Fair. And one of these, I believe, is supposed to be on the Minnesota ballot. They actually talk about it in this segment. It's like, it's on the, I got the link inside the description, so you can, if you want to see it, you can, and it's, on your own. Let me pull it up here. Here we go. This one. Oops. Oh, hello. There we go. So this one is about the state fair poll results. Let's look at the questions they asked and how people in Minnesota responded. Obviously, the sample size is the Minnesota State Fair people that went inside I believe they have this one. Is this one in the education building? I'm not sure where they have this one.
Get together is in the books, and that means it's time for the results of the annual Minnesota House of Representatives opinion poll. Yep. Fairgoers once again stopped by the House booth in droves to take the survey.
We've done this for quite a number of years in a row. In fact, it's one of the things I always do at the fair is take the poll. So I think it's a great idea.
Well, what did you think of our legislative opinion poll?
I thought it was good. I had some good questions.
Produced by the nonpartisan House Public Information Services Office, the 12-question survey gives fairgoers a chance to weigh in on topics discussed during the past legislative session and that could come up again in the future. With that, here are the results. Question 1. Should students in grades K through 12 be prohibited from using cell phones during the school day?
What say you? What? I'm in the wrong thing again. What say you on that? Should students in grades K through 12 be prohibited from using cell phones during the school day? Yes! 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 The answer is yes!
Some school district personnel have reported cell phones are a distraction in schools and impacting student behavior and academic achievement. Others believe it's important for students to have cell phone access during the school day so they can stay in touch with their parents.
Oh my God. Helicopter parents much? Like, can you freaking cut the umbilical cord for a second, or at least the telephone cord? Crying out loud. Even your parents are addicted to technology. Good Lord. I seen this coming, in the early 90s. I seen it coming. I was like, oh my God. And I said something. I'm like, people are going to get addicted to technology. They're going to get addicted to this. Yeah.
Here's what poll takers thought. Question 2. Should firearm storage laws be expanded to specify that a person must store a firearm unloaded and equipped with a locking device or in a firearm storage unit?
What? When traveling? What? When traveling? I mean, what's the point of having a gun if you can't use it and it be readily available? Why would you have? Okay, I'm just gonna leave this one alone because just shut up. And
the House passed a proposal in 2024, but the Senate did not act. Supporters say the measure could change unsafe behavior and keep more fire.
Clearly, people do not understand. If you know what? How do I say this without being a complete bitch? You cannot bear it. If you can't wait, what is this? If you cannot have it on you, you cannot bear it. Yes, I mean it's just. I feel like this is just defeating the purpose of actually having a freaking gun for protection. Yeah, I'm gonna carry around an unloaded gun. What the fuck? I mean, you're gonna store it that way. No, I'm not. Yeah, how about that? Nope. All right.
Firearms out of kids' hands by expanding existing laws on firearm storage. Opponents say the state shouldn't tell citizens what they can do with their own property in their own homes. Here's how our poll takers saw it. Question 3. To encourage recycling, should Minnesota pass a bottle bill that would require a refundable deposit on each purchased beverage container, such as cans and plastic bottles?
Folks, I don't know about you guys, but didn't they do that back in the 70s and the early 80s? I think they did. here. So you could, but I already pay for recycling and my garbage. And no. But if they say yes,
10 states have a bottle bill. Research indicates
well,
deposits are effective with beverage container recycling 2 or 3 times greater in states with a deposit than in the states without. However, others say Minnesota is already
the
one
thing
of the
is, people didn't live during that era, so they don't have any. Do you ever make you wonder why Minnesota doesn't do that anymore? How about that? Okay.
top recycling states in the nation, ahead of some states with deposit systems. And a new program will lead to higher costs to consumers for certain recyclable products. This is what our poll takers thought. Question 4. If gambling on professional and collegiate sports becomes legal, should in-person wagering sites include both tribal casinos and the state's 2 horse racing tracks?
Okay. This I have a little bit of something to say. Now, I do believe that the people that are on these boards that decided this to exclude Canterbury Park and Running Aces, I believe one of the men is a tribal member, is involved with the tribal casinos. So they're looking out for the tribal casinos' best interest. Hi, Queen. How are you? It's good to see you. And so we're talking Minnesota and politics and Tim Maltz and Minnesota and God and Minnesota and goofy stuff. Anyways, this board that is making these decisions, he needs to probably not
Canterbury
vote
Park
in
and
this
Running
one.
Aces. Minnesota has yet to legalize sports betting, but the debate over how to license and regulate it has been part of the legislative discussion over the past few years. A 2024 bill would have granted sports betting licenses to Minnesota's 11
It
tribal
should
nations
include it in Running Aces and Canterbury. It should. I don't believe that the tribes should have that exclusive right. But that's me. That's my own personal opinion.
wagers would be allowed at brick and mortar
They
locations
got
on
plenty of
tribal
money.
lands or
Trust me.
using mobile apps licensed to tribal entities. However, the bill left out the state's 2 horse racing tracks, Canterbury Park and Running Aces. The bill failed to become law, but there is bipartisan support among lawmakers to allow adults to place bets on sporting events. However, opponents worry it could lead to gambling addiction.
Oh, Jesus. Never mind
Question
the
5.
lottery
State
system
law
we
limits
have.
when legislators can meet in session during the year. Should restrictions be lifted so the legislature could meet at any time? Minnesota's part-time legislature must
I would
conclude
like
its annual
that,
work no later than the first Monday after the third Saturday in May of each year. While the schedule is similar to many other states,
We're for like, what, 5 months out of the year? I mean, from what, January to May, and then that's it? I mean, I know that they have that like for that political season, during the summers and stuff, but it's, before they're like, just, I mean,
some allow their
I don't get to, I mean, they're supposed to use that other time to do their work for the next legislative session. Do they? I'm hoping some do, some don't. I mean, some just don't put as much into it as you would want them to. And some do. Some put it in even more. So
legislatures to meet year-round. Supporters of the idea, in part, say the change would allow lawmakers more time to inform themselves on the issues and provide additional opportunities for public input and debate. Opponents say the hard deadline helps spur action and provides the needed push to get things done. This is how survey
you
takers
can't
felt.
get it done. Nobody.
Question 6. Should the state create digital driver's licenses and identification cards? In the same way you can now store a credit card or other documents on your smartphone,
No.
some states allow a secure digital version of a person's driver's license or
Hell
state
no.
identification card on a smartphone. Supporters
Next, you'll be implanting a microchip right into your hand, right in your forehead. No, thanks. I'm good.
Say digital
just
licenses
saying.
would be
Nope.
convenient and provide security while also allowing users to keep pace with technology. Others argue a digital identity system could be vulnerable to attack, raising concerns about data privacy. Question 7. Should Election Day be a state holiday? State law currently allows an employee to take time off from work to vote without losing pay or paid time off. But some states have made Election Day a public holiday in hopes of making it easier for some people to get to the voting booth. Supporters
I
say
mean,
the new
I
holiday
wouldn't
would
be
increase voter
opposed to it.
participation and could allow elections to run more smoothly. Opponents believe it's not necessary.
I honestly, I want to take Election Day off. I might ask to take Election Day off. I think about it every election. I do every year. So
In part because Minnesota already has plenty of early voting options available, and state
one more vote. I could get one more vote.
voter turnout rate is routinely among the top couple of states. Here's what poll takers thought. Question 8. Should the Minnesota Care Health Insurance Program be expanded to include a public option to allow more low-income Minnesotans to buy health insurance? A 2024 proposal would have expanded access to Minnesota Care with the aim of making health care insurance more affordable and easier to access for more Minnesotans. Currently, the program is only available to individuals who earn less than 200% of the federal poverty line, which is about $30,000 per year.
So up to $60,000 you can make.
Opponents of the idea say expansion would make an already costly program even more expensive. This is how survey takers felt.
Is that like for a family of 4 or what? Is that what do you know what our church would say about digital driver's license? Or yeah, I know, right? You kidding me with that? Don't take the mark. Okay? That's all I gotta say.
Question 9. Should state and local governments, school districts, and post-secondary institutions be prohibited from banning any visual display of rainbows, such as flags or posters, from their property? Last session, a bill that would prohibit the banning.
Yes. Ain't gonna do that. Nobody bet. They're never gonna do that. Good Lord. That is the stupidest thing I've
Banning
ever
of rainbow items in government buildings and most schools throughout the state was approved by one committee. The bill would not have required rainbows to be displayed, only prevented them from being singled out for bans. Supporters say rainbow flags and other items symbolize respect and inclusion for all. Opponents of the bill feel it could set a precedent regarding other flags or symbols and potentially infringe upon free speech or political beliefs.
Oh my God.
Question 10. Should school supplies be exempt from sales taxes? The end of the Minnesota State Fair marks the beginning of the...
I mean, how are you going to prove that it's school supplies? And you know what I'm saying? So basically all office supplies are now going to be tax-free. Can I let you in on a little secret? You need some office supplies? The post office does not charge tax on tape. Just so you know. Boxes, tape, or envelopes. Just so you know if you want tax-free stuff.
The school year for many students. As costs for school supplies continue to rise, some legislators think exempting nearly all traditional school supplies from taxation could help parents and students alike. A 2024 proposal for this did not receive a committee hearing. A K-12 education credit and K-12 education subtraction can now be used when filing taxes, although receipts are needed and income limits apply in some cases. Question 11. To help address the housing shortage, should the state require cities to loosen zoning laws to permit more multifamily residential developments?
No. Not only no, but hell no. In fact, the city that I live in doesn't allow doesn't allow apartment buildings. Thank God. Because they tried it once and it was a complete fail, and the place is a shit hole right now. And they said no more. And so where I'm at, you have to have a minimum lot of 1 acre to live in my city, and that's the way I like it. Um, there is, I just no.
And commercial
And then the state's going to tell me how much. No, what? No, that's what the city. It's no.
districts and on residential lots, Minnesota faces a sizable housing shortage with 100,000 dwelling units needed to close the housing gap. Supporters say modifying
I'm surrounded by idiots.
certain zoning laws would help spur new housing
That's all I gotta
development
say.
and create more affordable housing. But opponents say the proposal is a one-size-fits-all approach that would preempt city zoning and land use authority. Here's what our poll takers thought. Question number 12. Shall the Minnesota Constitution be
Okay.
amended to protect drinking water sources and the water quality of lakes, rivers, and streams, conserve wildlife habitats and natural areas, improve air quality, and expand access to parks and trails by extending the transfer of proceeds from the state-operated lottery to the Environment and Natural Resources Trust Fund, and to dedicate the proceeds for these purposes?
Okay, so this I do believe is the question that is going to be on our state ballot this year in Minnesota. So pay close attention to what this says. I mean, I already thought that that the lottery stuff did go to the DNR. I guess I don't know.
This
Now-
question will appear on the
Oh,
November 2024 ballot. Voters will be able to choose whether to continue using some state lottery proceeds to fund the Environment and Natural Resources Trust Fund. Voters first approved a constitutional amendment in 1988 to dedicate a portion of the state lottery proceeds for environment projects around the state. Here's a look at what the poll takers thought.
Okay, so shall the Minnesota Constitution be amended to protect drinking water sources? So this is kind of where it gets a little bit sketchy. You know what I'm saying? Drinking water sources and the water quality of lakes, rivers, and streams, conserve wildlife habitat. Okay, so in what ways are they doing all of these things? What are we agreeing to? Conserve wildlife habitat. Does that mean that they're going to put more restrictions on hunting? I don't know. In natural areas, improve air quality. What does that mean? Improve air quality. What does that mean? Our air is not bad in Minnesota. Okay. And expand access to parks and trails. Now, see, some of this is great. I would love to expand access to parks and trails by extending the transfer of proceeds from the state operated lot. Okay, so expand access by extending the transfer. Okay, so basically, is the real question, should the Minnesota Constitution be amended to by extending the transfer of proceeds? Okay, so is this the line of this? Is so convoluted the way that they have this because they're including so much in it. Yeah, I mean, it starts with the water and leads to the windmills and such and all this. Hold on a second. What am I agreeing to here? By extending the transfer of proceeds from the state-operated lottery to the Environment and Natural Resources Trust Fund. Where else is it going? Is it going into the general fund? I mean, where is the money going? And to dedicate the proceeds for these purposes, do we need amendment?
Thank you for taking the
I don't
annual
think we
Minnesota
need the
House of
amendment
Representatives.
for it. I got to be honest. I don't believe we need an amendment for it. I think that it should be allocated and continually monitored, because when you think about it, I mean, things change. You know, they're talking in one question, they're talking about the state worried about housing, yet now they want to conserve land and air quality and all this other. So where's the balance, folks? What you want to do both, but how much? There's plenty of housing. Maybe it's the price of housing that is the fucking problem. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to swear. I'm sorry. It's the first time I actually came out and said the F word. Sorry. It's the price. Okay. Anyways, so there's the end of that. Well, what's this? This was a year ago. Let's talk about this. Because I was curious about this. Let me stop that one. Let me pull this one up. This is a 2-minute thing. I see it and I was like, oh, that's curious. I kind of am curious about this one.
The state capitol, where there's a big debate tonight.
It's about a year ago.
Raising taxes to pay for roads and transit. Chief political reporter John Croman's at the Capitol tonight with all the details. John?
Raising taxes to pay for... Never mind, though. How much surplus did we have last? Okay, I can't. Let's continue.
Hey, Randy, a lot of these transportation use and taxes have not been raised since 2000.
Look at the guy behind him.
That was the session.
Look at the guy behind him.
The 35W bridge collapse. And supporters were way overdue, long overdue, for spending more money on roads and bridges.
Springtime in St. Paul. As sure as the robins return to the Capitol lawn, Democrats start looking to raise more revenue for roads.
So this is multimodal. We deal with transit.
You legalized cannabis.
We deal with bridges. We fund
You'll get your money
and safety initiatives.
You'll get your money.
House Transportation Chair Frank Hornstein asserts people are
come
willing
January.
to pay
You'll
more
get your money.
fees.
Where's that money going?
They know it's going to safer and more reliable streets and highways.
You get all this money from that, and we're going to have a huge surplus again.
They are paying thousands of dollars for front end alignments and flat tire replacements.
Hornstein's bill would raise several vehicle-related taxes for the first time since 2008, including license tab fees, motor vehicle sales tax, and driver's license fees. To bolster and expand bus service, the bill would increase the sales tax by 0.75% in the 7-county metro area. And it would add a 75-cent surcharge on all retail deliveries from companies that make at least $1 million.
Okay, so this is so true. With as much as we pay in road maintenance, our roads should be paved by gold by now. Yes, this is totally true. It is totally true because, they collect that in your registration. There's wheelage tax. There's every city's got a tax. So whatever city, oh, you guys, we are taxed on our taxes. I mean, they tax us on the taxes we get back. That's how petty Minnesota is. They tax us on the freaking taxes we get back as income. It's income. So we already worked for it. We already paid the tax. We already did all that for that income. And we get any of it back, it's considered fucking income. It's super stupid. Just so you know.
dollars a year.
The American Society of Civil Engineers
oh my God, yes.
gave Minnesota's road infrastructure
extortion is correct. Yes,
grade.
Correct.
Transit a C-.
The bill also pays for an electric vehicle charging network, an I-94 and 35W that would be built by MnDOT and operated by private companies. It's a chance to use part of the surplus to leverage federal dollars.
The federal government has made this huge commitment.
What are the caveats?
Historic commitment. And what we're doing with some of our one-time money from the surplus is matching federal funds.
Okay, hold on. What are the rules and conditions of this federal money we are receiving? Damn it, here we go again. Why are we receiving federal? Okay, what have we agreed to? This is a year ago. Nothing I can do about it now. We're fucked. Anyways, whatever. It's frustration
The
station.
Republicans are going to spend several hours tonight trying to talk Frank Hornstein above all of those ideas. They said that when you got a $17 billion surplus,
I have no idea why it's doing that, and I'm afraid that my internet connection, because it's doing this, I'm afraid my internet connection is going to conk out on me again. I hope it doesn't. If not, I'll reload. So basically, there's that. I was kind of curious about that. I just happened to see that, and that was from a year ago. I wanted to also let you guys know that there is actually a list out there for people in Minnesota. Did you know the Minnesota Legislative Television coverage? Minnesota Legislature provides statewide broadcast, cable, and satellite television coverage of legislative proceedings live from the Minnesota State Capitol. Coverage is provided during legislative sessions each year, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., with extended evening and weekend coverage available for debates on high-profile issues. Legislative television coverage is created and produced as a public service by the Minnesota Legislature. Coverage is delivered statewide on the Minnesota Channel, which is carried by Minnesota's 6 independent public television stations. Coverage is also available to adjacent areas in Wisconsin, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Iowa. The Minnesota Channel is distributed through a variety of ways, including broadcast, cable, and satellite. All programming distributed on the Minnesota Channel is closed captioned, which is good to know. What is another? Why do a third countries have better internet services than we do? Well, I don't know that. I don't know. Don't get me started. But there's actually a list. You can go in, like you're in Brainerd, channel 199. If you're in Rochester, Sherwood Senior Campus, channel 7.3. Rochester has a couple, channel 199. Also, let's see, Deer River, channel 175. Nisswa, channel 396. I mean, there's a list out there of the channels, and even for these little small towns. So check it out. You can find the Minnesota Legislative Television, whatever. Now, let's get to the meat and potatoes of this all. I mean, the real reason we're all here. We all know, we all want to watch this. Donald Trump at McDonald's. We're going to do it right now.
Forward into the oil. Don't want to burn yourself.
He's learning.
Down a little bit further.
He's a learned man.
There you go. And then we're going to hit our fry timer right here.
He's not afraid to get greasy.
That one's going good. Now we can drop another one too. So we'll grab one more basket, 2 hands. Yep. We're going to put it right here. Yep. We're going to lower it slowly into the oil. Don't want to burn. Good, good, good. And then we're just going to hit our fry timer right here.
Right there.
Yep. Now we're waiting for that duty timer. So now when
Look
that
at those Secret Service men.
Hit the timer. Take it out the oil slowly. Give it a little shake so that way it don't get sucked together. And then lower it back into the oil.
Okay.
So this one will probably go off before anybody else. Oh, there we go.
This goes on for like
Yep, you're good. You got it. So now
all for like what 20 minutes. So let's see if we can
shake and then slowly back into the oil. That's good. Good job, good job. And then we got another one going off. So squeeze that right here with that button. Good. And then
you
out the oil.
fries with that.
Shake and then back into the oil. Very nice. And then our last one is going to go off. I'm going to have a few seconds. I'm going to get a few more fries.
Right. Got about 10,000 people out there. That's a big crowd, huh?
There's 10,000 people outside of this McDonald's waiting to get
McDonald's.
served
I love
by
jobs.
Donald Trump.
It's a good job. And I think it's inappropriate when somebody puts down all over the place that you worked at McDonald's. It was a big part of her resume that she worked at McDonald's, how tough a job it was. She specifically worked at the French fry, where they make the French fries. And she talked about the heat. It was so tough. She never worked at McDonald's. McDonald's just confirmed that again, by the way. She never worked at McDonald's. In other words,
You gotta love him.
Lion Kamala. That's a great setup, huh? So what's the second handle for a lefty?
Exactly.
If that's, so you have lefties, so they have it.
Exactly, yes. And then also sometimes we have no salt fries. You rather if you're right-handed, you grab the hand on the left, pour it on from there.
That's what you're busy.
So
Exactly,
was it McDonald's or was it White Castle that had the first like
20 seconds on that
fast
one.
food
That
setup?
one's up. We're gonna once it starts beeping,
Like,
we'll say pool.
super
We're
cool.
gonna lift it out.
Modernized.
Hook it onto here. Lift the handle up to let it drain. Give like 10 seconds. Once it's done draining, we're gonna bring it over to the left side. Put it into there. Salt, and then shake them up.
Can they have some? Looks good, huh? These are definitely fresh. The good thing they're definitely fresh.
Yep, good.
Okay.
And then
Pull.
exactly, and we're gonna hook it right onto there.
Okay, and I shake a little bit.
Now you don't gotta shake. You just hook it right onto there.
Okay.
And then we're gonna bring
Well,
this
they're gonna
handle
be
up to
crazy.
the
Shake
sky.
them.
So that
Nah,
way
he's
it's
right.
Yep, bring up.
I would have.
And then that's good. We're gonna bring them over directly to this one.
All right.
Very good.
Yeah.
Grab one while it's really hot. See if you can touch that sucker. I don't think so.
We're gonna bring that basket far right. all
See
the
if
way
you can
to the
touch
right,
that
hang it
sucker.
right up there. And then we got another pool driver. We gotta hit that timer. Bring that one up. I'm gonna take care of these.
Okay.
He's smart. He's like, I'm not listening. I gotta shake some of that grease out. You can't have that grease up there.
Right there, right there.
No, I do it too. I don't care.
Okay, put that right far right. Hang it right up there. And then you want to do the salt over here?
Yeah.
I did these ones already. They're good. You just gotta do
Okay.
that one right there. So grab
Let me
that.
give them extra salt.
No, no. Yep. Oh, yep. Good.
Okay.
Right there. And then we're gonna grab the fry scoop right here. Put it into there and just give him a twirl that way.
Look at him. Let's see.
Where's the little thing?
Let's see him. Let's see if he's gonna chintz on the fries.
Never even touch it, huh?
Exactly.
I was always wondering, wow, that's pretty good.
So then you're gonna put it right up here on this fry ribbon.
Okay, sure. Can I give it to these guys? Here, take it.
Yes, you know, you can do better than that, Donald. Come on.
Bottom.
You gotta rip that
And then we're
guy
gonna
off.
hold it like this.
You can
so that
pack
way we
him
don't
in there a
switch
little
around.
tighter.
Exactly. And then grab your fry scoop. And then, okay. And then probably another scoop in there. We'll mix it out.
Wow.
Let's do a little bit more.
We'll do another
Look at
one.
him. He's like, no, you gotta put more in there.
And then
Somebody get
this one
pissed.
we got to dump it over here. This one's
Okay.
clear for us, so we can put it right into here.
Let's do it.
Very good.
And
then you
salt
hang that
them.
one right back over there. Thank you. And then we're gonna grab our salt. And then just one dump, no movement. Good, good, good. Put it over.
He's probably
Grab
gonna
the fry scoop,
3
just give it a
dumps of
swirl, get
salt.
all that
and
salt mixed up in there. Yep, very good, very good. And then up.
Cool.
Yep.
Take that.
And we're gonna take from these ones first. It is first in, first
Okay,
out, like the
let's do it.
freshest ones.
I like that.
Good.
Look at that.
Open it up. Keep it tight. We got the salt on it.
Look, he's like going at.
Never
He's
touches
like
the
got
human
it.
hand.
This is
Nice and full.
Thank you.
this is great.
Good.
Oh,
Wanna do
that's
another
funny.
one? Yeah, I'll grab it.
Oh god.
There you go.
Never touched by a human hand. Nice and clean. My hands are nice and clean.
Freaking
This guy's a good
Donald
instructor. Wow, I'm going to give a really big one so that look at that. They're just pouring out of it. How good is that, Margot? Here, Margot, have them. She's been with me a long time. She's the only one who can afford to have them.
Now, do you want to keep going with the fries, or do you want to?
No, I think it's good. I think it's good. Now, how about we bag them now?
Exactly. Okay,
Let's
back
bag
to Jojo. Jojo's gonna help you with the bag.
Jojo, you're an expert at this, huh?
He's gonna teach him how to bag a
So for
fry.
our first order that's going out the window.
Hi,
you're gonna need
Megan.
3 medium
How are
fries.
you?
So would you like to put the medium fries in the bag?
I think so, yeah.
Good
We'll
to
do
see
that.
you.
Because you know who's taking these, right? Mine. Do they ever ask for more salt?
Oh,
Supposedly we
thanks
want
for
some extra salt.
stopping by.
We will give them salt package.
We're checking out Donald Trump and his French
I
fry.
love salt. Wait a minute. I
Here.
spilled some. I'm very superstitious. Now it's over the left shoulder. Now I'm okay. Let's go.
All right, yep. So we're going to start from this side.
Yeah,
okay?
fine.
I got it on. Hold on.
Okay, put them in standing up, right?
Correct.
You think that's the Secret
You're
Service
an
in
expert
that
at this,
truck
huh?
that's out there?
How long have you done this? How long have you been here?
I've been working McDonald's 10 plus.
10 plus.
Uh,
All different jobs. She doing a good job? She better, right?
This is, they're
Beautiful.
saying that
Let's go.
Donald's not gonna get.
Yeah.
Stop talking, Donald.
How many?
You're
how
gonna
many
get
would you put in the bag?
fired.
Like 6 you did?
Oh, they
maybe?
probably will.
I
5?
will get the most. First order, get 3
Yeah.
medium fries, and they're waiting for you.
Okay, very good. Let's go. Oh, I see. Now I'm going to see that. Oh, that's your customer out there.
Yes.
Wow, it's pretty good. Okay, let's say. You believe this? Look at this guy. He's a MAGA guy all the way.
Okay, so for his first order,
Who is that?
Boy, that's a good-looking group. Hello, everybody.
Look at that.
This is not a normal situation, is it? Huh? How are you? What a good-looking family. How did you produce those good-looking kids? Oh, they look like the what? They look like the what? How are you? Nice to see you. That's great. Thank you, man. Thank you very much. Thank you. And there'll be no charge. Trump is paying for it. Is that okay?
He's paid for everybody.
This is all on Trump. I'm allowed to do that, right? Let's check and make sure. Everything better be. It's going to be the best you ever. I made it myself.
And a Happy Meal.
That's it. Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you. Have a good time.
Look at that.
That's great. How cute is it?
Car.
Okay, next car.
Yeah, they get both bags.
You like them both at the same time?
Yes, that is right.
Hello, how are you? You're a good-looking guy.
Everybody's a good-looking guy.
Thank you very much. I will. I promise. Thank you very much. That's on me. Okay. Have a good time. Thank you very much. I'll see you at the White House. Thank you very much. Come on. We have another order coming up.
This is hilarious. I did not see this video at all. So this is great.
Thousands of people. Hello. Oh, you what a beautiful woman. Look at a beautiful child. The whole thing. It's like the perfect looking person. That's good. That's your compliments. Thank you, darling. Thank you. Hi, Mom. Look at Mom over there. Thank you very much. Thank you, darling. You have a great mom?
That's amazing. That's so fun.
She knew what to say. Thank you very much.
I love it.
Thank you, darling.
Wow. Like
so nice.
Right, you did a good job.
Like, did they just like pull up and there's
got it. Mary, look at this guy. I'm not going to mess with him. How you doing, sir? You look fantastic. Hello. Baby boy. How are you? Your new baby. How are you? Doing great. How are you? So this is compliments to me, okay? All right. You go have a good time. Don't eat too much, right? Thank you, man.
Don't eat too much.
Thank you, honey. Have a good time.
Hi, PZ.
It's cute. This is fun. I could do this all day. I wouldn't mind this job.
Like,
I like this job. I think I might come back and do it again.
Thank you.
Like I said,
Look
you guys.
Look at that. How are you? Thank you, Mr. President. Nice to
Yes,
see you.
we do have an awesome president.
Possible for ordinary people like us to meet.
You're not ordinary.
Thank you so
You
much.
are not ordinary. I can see.
We pray for you,
thank you.
and you are the type of person we want to be the president.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
So nice. Thank you very much. Yeah,
That's
take a photo.
hilarious.
That's right. When you think about it, I guess that's right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Beautiful wife. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you so.
Thank you very much.
God bless you.
Great honor.
Oh, look at that.
Isn't that nice? Both of them?
This is hilarious. I did not see
Hello,
any of
everybody.
this.
I'm having a lot of fun here, everybody. Look at the fake. Look at all the fake news over there. Hello, everybody.
You can take this.
And
right?
you know this is compliments of Trump, okay?
Yes, thank
Okay.
you. Mr. President,
Yes.
please don't let the United States become Brazil, my native Brazil.
Oh, we'll keep it
Please,
good.
Please,
We're going to make it better than ever, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you. It's a pleasure, Mr. President.
Compliments of Trump.
Yes.
Have a good time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you over there.
Thank you very much.
Have a good time.
Thank
Nice
you.
to see
You
you.
too, Mr.
Bye,
President.
darling. Have a good time. Thank you, honey.
Oh,
How good are
that's
these
fun.
I'm going to take plenty.
Like they
definitely
obviously
have
had to
French
line
fries
some
for
of
the
these
plane.
people up and just like I
Have
mean,
you seen the people over there? That is
how do they
thousands of
screen
people.
these people? That's funny.
Great. How are you? Nice to see you. Here's my guy. Great cinematographer. Not enough. I want more. I want more money. No, I'm big. I'll tell you what. It's a great franchise. It's a great company, and they've been very, very nice. And you know, if you look at really what's
McDonald's is
happening,
not
look at the crowd
afraid.
over there. Look how happy everybody is. They're happy because they want hope. They need hope, and that's what we're doing. That's what we're going to give. Much more than hope.
That's what
we're
he's
We're
selling.
going to take hope and make it fact.
Mr. President, you actually have worked at McDonald's now.
Now I have worked at McDonald's. I've now worked for 15 minutes more than Kamala. Okay, she never worked here. I've now worked 15 minutes more than Kamala, so it's good. Worked at McDonald's. I'm going to say why?
That's
Because
hilarious.
she's lying, Kamala. That's why. Why would she lie? She shouldn't lie about it. McDonald's confirms 4 times now. She never worked here. But let's not talk about that. It's an amazing business. It's an amazing country. And we're going to make America greater than ever before. We're going to do it. And it's companies like this. Look at the enthusiasm. I mean, that's thousands of people over there. They go miles back. That's incredible. So look at that. We'll be at the Pittsburgh game tonight, and we look forward to it. And it should be
They
a good
asked him
game.
about Kamala.
And,
I know
yeah,
in some
we'll see.
other
They have a
clip
great
that
coach.
I
It's a
seen.
Great coach. And we'll see how it is.
So
It'll be
I hope
interesting.
it's on here.
Well, this is a great job to take at the beginning, and it requires expertise. I'm going through the French fry stuff. It's a whole big process.
Yeah, he's
and it
still fast food
requires
school.
great expertise actually to do it right and to do it fast. Yeah.
Do you appreciate McDonald's more now? Do you appreciate McDonald's more now that you've worked here?
Well, I do appreciate it. Maybe a little bit more. Yeah. you take it for granted. You say, give me French fries. I'll never forget this experience, okay? Now I know how to do it, and it's very good. But you know what? It's beautiful. It's clean. It's really nice. You never touch them. I always think if somebody stuffs them in with their hand, and I don't like that, and they don't do it that way, you never touch them. It's really great. So I want to thank you all for coming out, and we're going to see you soon. We'll see you at the next time.
really think
and then we'll
that?
see you later on at the game. I love Pennsylvania. I went to school at the Wharton School at Penn, so I love Pennsylvania. Always have.
Thank you, PZ.
They have a Trump store. I'd
I'm
love to go.
always
If Secret
laughing.
Service could work it out. I'd go there. How about that? Can we do it? Can we go to the Trump store? They have a Trump store. I don't know. People open up Trump stores all over the country, and they're beautiful. It's 2 blocks down, they say.
Can we go? Can we
I
go?
do it in 2 seconds. They have Trump stores all over the place. I get nothing out of it. You know what I get? The presidency out of it. That's all I get. Anyway, I love these
they're
people. They open up the
inside
Trump store. They do
everything.
great. And that makes me feel good. Thank you all. We're going to take a look at the Trump store. If Secret Service can do it, I'm doing it. I like the idea. We have plenty of time. I don't know. What do you want? Do you want something when you're there? I'll tell you what. How about if we gave you some French fries? All right? Are you? That's sort of a bribe, but I think a bribe for a buck is okay, right? I'm going to get you some French fries. Somebody come up here and take them. Let's get them some French fries, okay? These are the fake news. These guys don't get any. They're nice and warm and comfortable, right? All right, good.
So
Here's a couple
does
more.
he like give away
you're
fries?
stingy
You've
with
seen
that
this
product.
whole
Look
thing.
at that. She's a good worker. You want to have. That's the kind of people you want to have work. She gave him 1 French fry for 30 reporters that said.
Would you like 2 in a bag?
2 in a bag, yeah. 2 in a bag. We'll throw them out the window. We'll go far. You had a good time today, everybody? Pretty good, right? Pretty good. A lot of people look forward. They kept saying, when are you going to McDonald's? And I said, let's do it. So and we have the owner. We have a man that's a friend of mine. That's a great guy. How many McDonald's do you own?
I don't know. I just said he's
Yeah, but well, don't they go well? I know you're in the health club. I thought what you do is you eat McDonald's and you go to the health club. It works actually pretty good. Thank you, Doug. That's good. Here you go. Just go have this.
I know.
There's plenty of them in there for you. Okay. Grab. You want to move them back? Yeah. You'll
Sure.
here.
Sure.
Here you go.
What do you think this will move the needle for you in Pennsylvania?
I don't know. I'm doing very well. We're leading by quite a bit. She has no fracking. She's never. She's gonna have no fracking. That's gonna cost Pennsylvania 500,000 jobs, and the revenue's untold.
How do you connect?
So which did
I
this
think just by
say
being myself.
when he was
by being
at?
myself.
It's
All I
in
wanna do is be myself. I
Pennsylvania.
know what they have. We had the best economy ever. We had the strongest borders ever. We had a military that knocked out ISIS in a few weeks, as opposed to years, which they were thinking they would take. We
I
beat
want to
ISIS
hear him
in
ask about her
literally, record
birthday.
time, very quickly and decisively, and we did a great job. But we had the greatest economy ever. We had the best border ever.
Being conciliatory versus confrontational, how do you separate that out in your life?
Well, I always like to be conciliatory, but sometimes confrontation is important.
Well, it's good that they
As an
got
example, when we negotiated with other
locals
countries,
in
when
there
they've been looking
answering
up the years, 'cause our
or
country's been ripped off
asking
for
the
years,
questions
years
instead of
with other countries and by other countries, even our friends.
others.
And we've changed a lot of those trade deals, and we're going to change the rest. But we're going to bring jobs back to our country.
Either way, will you accept the results of the election?
Yeah, sure.
Oh,
It's a fair
God.
election. I would always accept it if it's got to be a fair election. We're leading in all the polls now. We're leading in every swing state, and we're doing well. And it's no, I don't
I
think
hope
so. don't think
I
so.
hope he
think
wins
it's a
Minnesota. I
fantastic
think he
lead.
could. I think he
we're
will.
93.2%
I think he's going to win
chance of winning. I
Minnesota.
think that's pretty good.
I
So we'll
expect
see.
him to
We'll see.
win
Let's
Minnesota
figure it out. I
this
like that.
time.
I'll take that.
I'm not even joking.
So thank you very much.
I do.
Hi,
Who are you with?
I'm Eva. I'm with CBS Philadelphia.
CBS. Are they the ones that did 60 Minutes?
Yes.
Are they the ones that changed your answer to make it positive?
I'm not with Network. I'm local.
Well, it's the same thing.
So, well, we actually aren't the same thing. But when some people say that Harris might be more unifying, what do you-
Unifying. I think she's the most divisive person I've ever seen. And she lies about her job applications, and she's told some horrible lies, but she's a very divisive person. And I think it
She
shows
lies-
up in the polls.
she lies about
I think I'm the
working
one that
at
brings everyone
McDonald's.
together. We had the greatest economy we've ever had. We had the best job numbers ever. We had the best border ever. The Border Patrol, by the way, for those that haven't heard, the Border Patrol a couple of days ago gave us their complete and total endorsement. They said Trump was the best president we've ever had, and they said she was the worst we've ever seen at the border. She did.
Oh,
job
it's
she
at
did
the
on border,
end.
and that really
Okay.
breaks our country apart. They allowed so many people into the country, 21 million people. 13,000 of which
That's
were
a lot of
murderers,
people.
released from prisons all over the world. We can't have that.
We,
Thank you all very much
as
for
a
coming. Thank you.
country, used to only allow in like
Thank you.
1
We have
million
He's my kind of
immigrants
guy. Do you want
a
ice cream?
year,
I'll get you
1
some
to
ice
2
cream.
million
Everything
a
will be good?
year.
You're doing a great job. You're doing a good
Legally.
job. Thank you, everybody. So we'll
Not
see you at the next
this,
stop. I
21
hope you're gonna grab
million.
that crowd, 'cause they say it's
Oh
about
my God,
10,000.
millions of.
How many
Oh,
TikTok Jack?
geez.
TikTok. How many hits do we have on TikTok? 10 billion views. And that's TikTok Jack.
10
Because
billion
actually he's become
views
very,
of
very
this?
famous. Yeah, BB called
Are
me this
you
morning,
kidding? How many?
And he's obviously got things going well.
Oh yeah, this has
He
got
even
had a
called me
million
today, so
views
he-
itself.
like to hear what
Oh
happened.
my goodness, that's hilarious.
Yesterday morning, and a couple of days before that. I can't tell you that. I can't tell you that. It would be very inappropriate. But they're certainly in a better position. And fortunately, they didn't listen
Oh,
to
it's
Biden
almost
and
over.
to Harris. You know who Harris is, right? Kamala. They didn't want him to do this, and Israel's much safer now than it would have been if they hadn't done it. So
Oh,
they did not
I'm
listen to Biden or
so.
Harris. Okay. So we're going to the next step.
Thank you, but thank you.
I've been hearing a
Well,
lot
I
about
think these people work hard. They're great, And I just saw something in process. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to see. These are great franchises and produce a lot of jobs, and it's great. And great people working here too. Really, really good people. So yes, ma'am. It's Kamala's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
She's 60 years old.
Right.
Yes, I would say
Right.
happy birthday, Kamala. She's turning 60.
There it is.
Did you get a surprise?
I think I'll get her some flowers. Maybe I'll get her some fries. You're right, that might be. I'll give her some McDonald's. I'll get her a McDonald's hamburger. No, it is her birthday. It is true, right?
I'll get her a
Happy birthday, Kamala. Happy birthday. See you later.
I'll get her a McDonald's hamburger.
That's a strange place to do a news conference. Was that a strange place to do a news conference? I want to thank you very much for the use of your beautiful store. It's essentially a store, and that's great. So you know about the Trump store down the block? It's nice. Are we going to be able to go there? Well, 30 minutes. That's not down. That's a long way.
That's a long
We'll
way.
pay our regards, right? Good job. Thank you very much. How long have you had it?
This location about
Yes.
a year. I've been an
Oh, good.
operator for 12 years.
I see. So this is a good location.
Yes.
Are you going to be able to grab 10,000 people outside, and maybe that's a lot of people, right? You got to say that's impressive.
A lot of French
isn't it?
fries to make. Better
Very
get
impressive.
to it.
Thank you all.
You got
Who are
all
you
the
with,
fryers
NBC?
up, bro.
CBS. You mean the home of 60 Minutes? They did a bad thing. They got caught. They got caught with their
Oh, yeah,
hand
I
in the
heard
cookie
about
jar,
that.
as they say. That wasn't good. 60 Minutes. Don't worry. They won't put this on. Have a good time. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Doug.
Thank you, President.
Thank you, Doug. How do you like this stuff?
And there it is, folks. That's hold on, let me get to the right screen here. That was the end of that. Trump's great. You know, so we've talked a little bit about like my earbuds. I don't know if it sounds all funny or tinny to you guys, but it sounds really weird in my ear. Heartwarming there. Yes, it was. You know, Trump has really done a lot of work, and he's in it to win it. Yeah. I hope that people can stop with the I'm going to vote for a person just because they're a woman. That kind of stuff needs to stop. That's identity politics. That's what they call that. And it's not okay. That stuff is childish. I want to be the first to do this. I want to be the first Mexican lady to do this. I want to be the first, oh no. Come on, stop. You know what? We're past that. I'm telling you, guess what? Blacks have been in Congress for forever. Mexicans have, Chinese have, Japanese, Asians, Indian, all of us. We've all been in various parts. And so to be the first, you know what? Get over that stuff. Please get over that stuff. Get over the race stuff. It's just so, it's dangerous. Yes. Voting with emotions as well. Very dangerous. Yes. It's just, you need to be sensible. And comes down to your communities as a whole. Like this is not about whether or not, as far as killing your babies and abortion stuff, that's not what this election is about. That, you know what, if if you are trying to fight to kill your baby, if you think that's like your priorities are messed up, if that's what your fight is, think about that. That's a first world problem. The right to kill your own child. That seems to be like some big thing that people have placed on a level that is higher than our entire country's safety with open borders and the terrorists that are probably entering in. And it's been proven they're coming from over 200 countries. They're coming from everywhere and entering in through that mostly southern border. Well, now they're just flying in because we're allowing that. And that is, I don't know who came up with that program. Some committee came up with this program. Okay. Guys, rein in the committees. What's going on? Oh, do we need to start attending these committee meetings? Can we on that level? I mean, we've got to start taking more responsibility ourselves for the decisions that the people that we are putting in office are making, and monitoring what they're trying to present as legislation in Washington, D.C., as well as at home. So I noticed that once I started having kids and stuff, that's when I started to get concerned about the world around me. And I think that a lot of young parents start to get that. They don't have it until they start having children, and they have to start making these kinds of decisions to keep those children safe. And then they go, oh, wait, this, or, they start to pick and choose the things that their parents did or taught them, or, put limitations on. And we don't really see limitations on a whole lot of stuff anymore, and that's scary. I don't know. Oh, you guys, there's so much to talk about and do when it comes to this election. All I can say is I would just really encourage people to know who is running in your local elections. Is there seats that you need to know about? Are there judge seats that you need to know about? Judges are another thing that we vote on. So, they don't get very many votes sometimes, and it can come down to just that one vote, especially with things like that. Those that sit on your courts. So just these are things that we need to think about when we're going to the voting booth. I just really encourage you to do some last minute research before you go vote this year, folks. I personally, if you want my recommendation, just red down ballot, just Trump and everybody that comes with him. It's the truth. That's what I would do. But and you know what? If you're a Democrat, just stay home. You're not happy, Democrat, just stay home. Somebody's going to get pissed for me saying that. I don't really care, but that's how I feel. Like, if you're not going to vote for Donald Trump, just stay home. You don't want to vote for Kamala? Make a statement. Stay home. Anyways, okay, my 2 hours is almost up, you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I had to get up and ready. I have to go to work tomorrow, and I got my grandson coming over, so that'll be fun. What do you say, Nate? In Washington, we are far outnumbered by the libs on the coast. Our votes don't count for much. We lose more and more gun rights every year. Well, did you see Tim Walz with his gun? They have that meme where he had Elmer Fudd Tim Walz next to each other. They're like, who wore it better? Oh, God. Make me stop, you guys. Okay, I'm going to go. I'll talk to you guys later. Anyways, I'm going to play my outro. I had fun. Did you? Okay, I hope so. Anyways, we'll do this again. Sorry, I didn't have a whole Sunday stream, but you got a little God stuff in there. It's really basically about morals and guys, we need to get back to. I'm gonna do something that I don't know that you guys may remember, may not. But back when I first started voting, it was Clinton, and their big thing was family values. I kid you not. They That's what their campaign was. Family values. And you know what? I'm bringing it back. Family values. We want family values in our communities because that makes people personally responsible for their own behaviors and the way that they carry themselves, especially even in public. Oh my God. Today I went to the dollar store and this woman was there with her kids and they were allowed. But she was trying to be like, okay, no, put that back, honey, blah, blah. Well, within 2 minutes, it was like, I said, put that back. And, oh my God, it was just, it was so funny. And I mean, she tried to maintain her composure. But the kids, nowadays, kids, I would have just grabbed my kid and left. You're going to do this to me? Guess what? Nobody's getting nothing. And it'd be a quiet ride home. And when they got home, I'd probably whip their ass. But that's me. That's what I used to do to my kids if they acted up in public. So they didn't act up in public. Did it once or twice. That was the end of that. We men don't know what? Last year, gens can't handle the job. The last year's, and oh my gosh, they can't handle it. Oh my God, I'm going to bed. Thank you for joining me. I'll talk to you guys. Maybe I don't know what I'll do this week. If I think about something that I want to talk about, or politically, probably this week is the week to do it. You guys need a bumper sticker or something, a Trump, email me, mnsunshine1@yahoo.com. Email me your address. I'll send you a sticker. I'll send you a bumper sticker. Yeah, just email me your address. I'll send you a bumper sticker. I'll put out the stamp. I'll pay for the stamp. Okay. All right, guys. Have a good night. And let me get the right thing up here. I'm sorry. I'm not doing all this other stuff.